Hi everyone, delonewolf here and welcome back to the Sunday recap, my weekly vlog where I talk a little bit about my last week in games. Let's start with EVE Online, and it's been an average week for me in EVE Online. I did a little bit of exploration and I was quite lucky actually in some of the sites, including a Sancha Vigil that dropped more than 400 million ISK in loot. That is of course very nice when you're looking to fuel some structures. So I think it's been going quite well. I have been taking the Ishtar out for exploration mostly. It is by far my favorite ship at the moment to run the exploration sites with. The main reason is of course because you can just sit there, use your sentry drones to destroy everything and then track to the most important loot by prioritizing those targets. It's just a great ship. It does have that fancy and expensive armor repair in the medium slots, which does like I think 20% of its HP in a single cycle. So it's a very powerful ship. It's not ideal, it's not the perfect ship, but it basically allows you to take your time when it comes to actually running those sites, or run those sites without having to fly manually or do anything like that. You just, sit there, let your drones do the work, let the loot come to you, fly out, find the next site. I really do enjoy that type of exploration playstyle that the Ishtar offers. Next to that, of course, we opened up the market in detail, and I must say you guys are supporting me a lot there. There's actually a decent amount of activity. I wouldn't say a lot, definitely not a lot, not even medium amount of activity, but for something that has just opened, you guys are selling enough there at the moment, or putting enough sell orders there at the moment I should say, so that you are actually paying for the fuel there. So that is very nice to see. My corporation wallet is actually going up enough for me to purchase fuels right from the same facility as well, which is absolutely awesome. Some of you guys have been bringing a lot of fuel to that market, and I'm going to slowly buy it as I need it. I'm not going to like spend a billion ISK in fuel in one go and put that in the structure. I try to keep it at around 30 days or something like that in reserve, but then I'll just keep buying, and it's super nice to see the activity there and all of the support that you guys are giving me for that market hub. So yeah, it's already making economic sense from the perspective that it's a zero cost structure for me. The fuels, you guys are basically helping me out with that, which is absolutely great. Then for the development of EVE Online, again, not a lot this week, so I am getting the itch. Come on CCP, give us something to look forward to in EVE Online. It would be absolutely great, of course, but yeah, not that much to report there. We do have some skins from no, not from CC, but from the Chinese server that have come to the store. Some of them do look absolutely amazing, but other than that, yeah, it's pretty quiet on the development front from CCP. So hopefully we'll get a lot of news there pretty soon. But for now, yeah, I'll just keep going, keep my structures up and running, and try to maybe figure out what kind of an industry I could do in detail, and also trying to sell that stuff locally. It's still something that I'm working on, something that I need to figure out. Getting lots of Sancha items, well, you could spend a huge amount exploring to try and make that happen, but I basically don't think that I can supply enough all on my own, so I'll have to diversify into some other stuff as well, and I think we'll spend the next few weeks trying to figure that out then. Next up, we have the World of Warcraft, where I have been doing the conquest points. First of all, I think that's going to be my priority. If I can keep up with that, eventually you'll get 400 gear, and I think basically at that point I'm feeling okay with my character, considering the sub that I'm still paying for the World of Warcraft, and not having to do too much grinding for the Heart of Azeroth to unlock all my traits. I basically think that if you keep up with that, you do your emissaries, you do maybe some extra daily quests here and there, and then you keep up with the conquest cap, that everything is going to go up in tandem quite nicely, and it doesn't take that much effort. If you're putting a lot of effort into getting your conquest and you're lucky enough that it's a week with a brawl, you can finish everything up in 2-3 days. Right now I have basically finished the conquest cap in 5 days, but doing only Battleground, Epic Battleground, and then a couple of maybe, I think I managed to do 2 invasion quests or something like that for maybe 20 conquest points, and that's really it. It's been a bad week when it comes to that, because the Alliance has been constantly going into war mode and organizing large groups to counter the active invasions, so I haven't been able to basically get ahead of the conquest cap that way. But yeah, winning 1 random battleground and 1 epic battleground is not that time consuming, and I actually enjoy running battlegrounds as well in the World of Warcraft, so it's all good. Next to that, I also joined an LFR just to, you know, try and get a quick look at the raid. We had the first wing, so the first 3 bosses, 2 wipes I think, and then we managed to do it. So it is definitely pretty easy. It's only going to get easier as people get gear as well, and I even got a ring out of it, because that's something that I've always been lagging behind. Conquest Cap doesn't give you good rings at the moment, or at least in the last season, and I'm not sure if that's going to change for this one, so I'm very happy to get a nice ring with lots of mastery and a socket. So I had plenty of options there to make that a better ring than what I already had. And yeah, we'll just see how all of that continues. But for the World of Warcraft, I'm basically not planning to go into mythics, to go into even more difficult raids and things like that. Basically, I think if you start to do that, then you're also forcing yourself into a more intense grind for Azerite power for your necklace, so that you can keep up with all the trades that you get from the Azerite gear there. And I'm definitely not planning to do that. The World of Warcraft, I'm there to have fun, not to spend all my time in the World of Warcraft, but to still have enough fun in the game, so that you know, paying the subscription makes sense at the end of the month there. And it's still doing that for me at the moment, with the second season, with this second reason to go after the conquest points, and just to try to keep up basically with the content up to that point. I feel like it's a fair amount of effort that you're putting into it. You're getting enough rewards for it, and it doesn't demand too much from you, even as a solo player. So we're gonna keep it at that, I think, for the World of Warcraft. And this brings me to the Anthem open demo, which is something that I downloaded and spent a couple of hours in there, I think 4 to 5 hours or so. And I can give you guys my impressions. I can't really give you guys a review, of course. It is far from the entire game that we managed to look at in the Anthem demo. I did not even go to level 15. I really didn't feel like doing that. Probably also because I chose the wrong javelin for me as the first unlock. You could unlock 1 javelin at level 12 or 13 or something like that, and I chose the big guy, the Colossus. It's fun to play as a sort of a Hulk buster. You do feel that heaviness, that powerful, the powerfulness that the Colossus has. But to me, it's not that fun to play compared to the Ranger, which is, I think, basically an average one, which has decent defense, decent speed, decent damage, decent mods and all of that stuff. So that one was actually more fun for me to play than the Colossus, and I think that's maybe what drew me to not put too much time in the Anthem demo after trying out the Colossus basically. Overall though, I have to say it's fun gameplay. It is really quite fun to fly around in that world, in the javelin, shoot at stuff. All of that feels really good. You have these incredible movement options where you can try to fly through water, so you can maintain your flight for a longer time. At the right spots, you can then just hover, find your targets, take him out. You've got lots of fun abilities, you could say, like Seeker Grenades, Seeker Missiles. I found those to be very fun to play with. And once you get a hang of the controls, which for me was not a problem. I mean, a couple missions in and I was absolutely fine with the flying, the hovering, the speed boost when you're on the ground. All of that stuff can make for some pretty cool movement and lots of fun gameplay. I have to be honest, for me, yeah, the gameplay was on point and was actually pretty fun. But then you come, of course, to the whole game design. Is this something that I'm going to purchase at launch, and I'm going to purchase at full price? I have to be honest, that's a no for me. We can already see that it is going to be a massive grind fest for loot. Also the end game, from what I've been seeing on some videos, including one from Force, basically they are ramping up the difficulty to such massive amounts after a while that yeah, you can basically keep grinding the same content in all likeliness for just great gear upgrade, that it is not something that I can see myself put the time into. So I'm gonna look for a price point where I can expect to enjoy it solo, run through the story. Basically, I do think that there's going to be story missions and things like that. Maybe have a little bit of extra fun there, but that's the amount of hours that I'll probably be spending in Anthem if or when I buy it. And so I'll be looking for a discount to match those types of hours. And at the moment, I'm probably thinking maybe 50% off, something like that. 30 euros will probably make sense for me when it comes to Anthem. A day one purchase, absolutely not. I need to see from reviews how much content there is, how much story there is, and how bad the grinding gets. And then of course we have EA there, so with the microtransactions, also always something not to look forward to, unfortunately. But I have to be honest as well, my general impressions of the gameplay is, yeah, that was a lot of fun to fly a javelin in the Anthem demo. I am worried though about the rest of the game, about endgame content, about the massive grind, and then of course we know what EA did. I think it was with the Star Wars game there, where they made it expressly difficult for you to grind progress, so that you would be enticed to buy stuff in the game. If there's hints of that, of course, that's only going to demand a bigger discount for me before purchasing Anthem. But that kind of information, I think I'll try to get that from the reviews, and if I eventually pull the trigger, of course I'll let you guys know, and you'll get some Anthem videos at that point. But yeah, overall here the Anthem demo for me, also from a technical standpoint, everything worked. No game-breaking bugs or anything like that. Sure, some popping and disappearing enemies, some typical bugs that you always have were there, but I never crashed, I never got disconnected from the servers. The game worked on my GTX 980, and the graphics looked absolutely great. So my overall impression is still that this is a solid game, and if you know, such a grind is something that you want to do, I can definitely understand people buying it. And yes, it was fun to play Anthem as well. And yeah, that was my last week in games, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.